We've been covering a lot lately how Trump speaks out of both sides of his mouth, where he says absurd things, contradictory things within the same sentence sometimes. And one example of that recently was when he was talking about housing, how he said he wants to help people afford new homes, but he doesn't want to build new housing to bring down the prices of people who are rich off their houses. We just did a video on that a few days ago. Well, Trump is back at it again with his meeting with Zelenskyy that he just had on the Russia-Ukraine war. And here's the latest, speaking out of both sides of his mouth at a pretty absurd pace.
They're going to be helping. Russia's going to be helping. Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once it sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president, President Putin was very generous in his feeling toward Ukraine succeeding, including supplying energy, electricity, and other things at very low prices. So a lot of good things came out of that call today.
Zelenskyy is all of us. The way that Zelenskyy responded with his facial expressions, I think, resembles pretty much the entire human race when we hear Trump speak nonsense. And I think it very much represents a lot of countries around the world, probably behind closed doors, laughing and mocking at the things that Trump says, because the things that he says are absolutely bonkers. I mean, he literally said that Russia wants the best for Ukraine. It makes absolutely no sense. The country that invaded the other one wants the best for them. This is fifth grade like nonsense that where you have to be like, Timmy, look, what you said, it doesn't quite logically, make sense. We need to make sure you understand the English language properly here. This is the president of the United States making these remarks. Mike, what the hell is going on here?
I mean, don't look at me, man. I don't really know. I can't make sense of it either because he's definitely trying to appease both sides. And this, again, comes back to what we were talking about with talking out of both sides of his mouth at the same time. But Zelenskyy made it very clear that even though he's being forced to kind of suck up to Trump and give a lot of excessive thank yous during this press conference, and say, oh, thank you, Trump. Thank you, United States. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's, again, all goes back to the first time he met with Trump in the White House, where Trump grilled him over, you don't even say thank you, even though he's very clearly said thank you several times, especially during Biden's term. So it's very sad to see, but this is the world that we live in now with Trump. So, it is a circus. He's got to sit here and do the whole act to keep Trump happy. And then Trump's happy now. But now, when Trump gets a chance to speak, he talks about how Russia wants what's best for Ukraine, which, again, doesn't make any sense at all. Especially on top of that, when you've even got the story that came out not too long ago about Steve Witkoff, Trump's envoy, who's trying to sort of broker deals between the two countries behind closed doors, where he was caught on a leaked recording selling out Ukraine. He told Russian officials, hey, don't worry, we'll get you what you want. We just need to package it a certain way to make Trump happy about it. So if I was Zelenskyy, and I hear, oh, Russia wants what's best for you, coming from the man whose own envoy is sitting there selling out my country, I'd be pissed. But you can't show that. You can't, Zelenskyy, unfortunately, is dependent on the U.S., so he can't buck too hard or anything like that. But, at the very least, you can see he can't help but at least physically respond to what he's hearing. And there's a lot of suggestive, eyebrow raises and whatnot that show that other people in the room also sense what's going on as well. So for a war that was supposed to end within 24 hours of Trump being elected, that's still ongoing, I would like to see where it goes from here because, hopefully we can finally see some peace. But Russia is the one who needs to concede. Ukraine is the victim. That's clear as day. And I think the Trump administration is finally taking that stance, but I know initially they weren't. So Yeah, I don't know, Emmanuel. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe you can help it make sense.
Yeah, again, this was one of Trump's big lies, and you just highlighted there. He said he was going to end this war. I think he said before he even was inaugurated, he was going to end it while he was like in the lame duck session before coming into power. And here we are a year later, and it's still like, well, negotiations are ongoing, and they're still like bombing and droning each other over there. I think like Moscow just got hit not too long ago, or Kyiv, like the capitals are now attacking each other, like insane stuff where this war is at. And this was supposed to, like, what happened? According to Trump, this war was never supposed to happen in the first place, and he was going to end it before coming into power. So another gaslighting of the American public, just lying through his teeth, making stuff up. It reminds me of his healthcare plan from like 10 years ago, where it was just 2 weeks away. Like, okay, you want to repeal and replace Obamacare. What are you going to replace it with? Oh, we're working on a healthcare plan. We'll have it ready in 2 weeks. It's been 10 years. And people still support this guy. That part will always remain a huge mystery to me. But again, we've talked about this before, that whole cult mentality of like, he's become this cult of personality where actually the things that he said during the campaign when he was running for office appeared to matter a lot. But now that he's in office, both the things he says and the actions he does don't matter anymore to the people in MAGA. It's just like they got their guy in the White House, and it's like game over. We won. And now we're just like gonna never ending support and protect and defend him until his term is up or until he keels over. Like, what kind of politics is this where you cheer for a man to come into power based on promises that he made? Then he breaks all the promises that he made, and you're still there cheering and defending him. What does that say about you as a person who's supposed to be, supporting all the things that you claimed that you were supporting him for, which was what? Draining the swamp, releasing the Epstein files, making America affordable again, whether it's inflation or housing or groceries or what have you. All of these things that he promised, almost none of them have gotten done. And some of them he just pretends just don't even exist anymore. Like, how do you explain that to, like, as a normal person? It makes no sense, Mike. I don't get it.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a great point by highlighting the contrast here, because that is something that when you first mentioned, anybody who hears this, anybody in the world, hears this and they see it for what it is. And I was going to make the point, but I guess I forgot. So I'm really glad that you brought it up, that like, that doesn't apply to MAGA. MAGA will support him no matter what he says, apparently. And it's very strange to see that all kind of play out, and not there's no cognitive like bottom to this that I can see, where no matter what he does, no matter what he says, it's always going to yield their support. And I believe Tucker Carlson even did like a pro Russia propaganda piece not that long ago. So, I mean, you've got on the right, you've got people that are definitely pro-Putin, and they were being conditioned to be pro-Putin. And even during the elections, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Good Liars were out talking to MAGA supporters, and they were asking him, like, do you think Putin's a good leader or something like that? And they're like, yeah, we wish we had somebody like that here. And it just showcases, like, these people are primed and conditioned. They're being spoon-fed propaganda, and they're swallowing it whole.